Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. I'm Tanner Knight, and today we are talking about these three big-ass toms. So as you can see, we have three floor toms they all have the same dimensions, 18 inches in diameter by 16 in depth. So the fabled 18 by 16 floor tom, all three of these are from the 80s. They kind of span the whole decade, 1980, 83, and 1989 on this one. And we're just gonna go head to head. And this isn't very scientific. I don't have the same heads on these. I could swap them out and have the same, but that's just a whole lot of effort for just kind of a fun video that I wanna throw together to just see what these things sound like side by side. Because how often do you get to see three 18-inch toms in the same room? So that's what we're doing today. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. So what are these beasts that we are talking about today? From right to left, or my right to left, we have a 1980 Tama Superstar 18 by 16 floor tom. This is 100% birch. It's the super maple lacquer, so it looks like it's maple, but it's actually birch, and it's beautiful. One of my favorite absolute drums of all time. Right in the middle, we have a 1983 Tama Imperialstar 18 by 16 inch tom, and it's similar in regards to dimension to the Superstar, but it's a very different wood. It's 100% Luan or Philippine mahogany, whatever you want to call it, and it is sometimes looked down upon as a drum wood, but I think they sound really good. They're dark and rich and full, so I have no complaints about Luan as a wood. Which brings us to the Yamaha 8000 series. This is a black lacquer, a piano black finish on an 18-inch tom Yamaha 8000 from 1989. And it is also made of Luan or Meranti or Philippine mahogany, whatever you want to call it. But it does have a layer of birch on the inside, and I believe it has a layer of birch on the outside as well, even though it is lacquered solid black, so you can't see the wood grain. But I believe there's a birch layer on the in and the outer layer of the 8000 series from 1989. Beyond that, these are just big ass frickin' drums. It's hard to fit these in a kit because they take up so much space, but if you can find a way, then it's worth it. And I used to look down on the 18-inch size because I thought it was kind of difficult to tune and it just wasn't the right sound, but after working with the Superstar 18 and acquiring these other two, I've kind of figured out the secret sauce. I tune them really, really low. I don't waste time trying to get a specific pitch, just keep them as low as possible so that the head is not wrinkled. And in fact, this one still has a little bit of wrinkle over here that I've been trying to chase out, but I think it sounds really good as is. So let's go ahead and hear these things and just go head to head and decide who's the king of the 18-inch toms. Capturing the sound today, I have as close of a mic complement as I can get here. I have an SM57 on these two Tama toms and then an SM58 on the Yamaha. So pretty similar. I've got the levels all set across the board, so there's no weird EQing or funky business going on here. This is just the raw signal of these three drums as they are right now. So let's hear, starting with the Superstar, and work our way left. On our Superstar drum, we have an Evans black chrome head. This is what I have across the board on my Tama Superstar toms. And a really nice set of heads. They've been ultra durable. They sound nice and mellow without being too punchy. And I think that's the case here. On the Tama Imperialstar, I have a Remo pinstripe clear. And this is really more of a classic head for this style of tom, but let's hear it anyway. Right off the bat, I can tell that this is a lower pitch than the Superstar. It's at least a minor third lower than this one, so that's quite a few tones, but that's just how this one tuned up. So that's the Imperialstar with the Remo pinstripe. And finally, we have this 1989 Yamaha 8000 series tom. There's a whole video that I did about restoring this tom because it came to me in pretty rough shape, had a bunch of extra holes drilled. So I filled most of the holes and kind of brought this thing back to life with some Yamaha actual correct sized hardware. So if you want to check that video out, it'll be linked in the description below. But here we go. This is quite possibly the lowest and the loudest, but I haven't verified that yet. So as far as just the deepest fundamental tone based on this tuning, like I said, I thought the Yamaha took the cake, and I do believe it is maybe just a tone or a semitone lower than the Imperialstar. And to be fair, I do have the black chrome head cranked up a little bit just because it did have some more wrinkles than I was used to. And I liked how it sounded a little higher. So I do keep that tuned a little higher than, say, these two floor toms here. But that's really all I wanted to accomplish with this video. I have these three 18-inch floor toms. It's not very often that that occurs. And in fact, this one just got sold on Reverb, so that one is going to disappear. I was going to try to build a kit around this tom, but I had a hard time finding the other pieces sort of readily at good prices. So I don't know if it's necessary having an 80s Imperialstar set when you have an 80s Superstar set. Seems a little redundant. But I do love this stuff, and I love checking out new drums. So we'll see. Maybe down the line, I'll put an Imperialstar kit together. What I'd really like to do is find a smaller Imperialstar set, like a 20-inch kick with a 10 and a 12 and a 14-inch tom. And I'd really like to see how that stacks up against my big old Superstar 24-inch, 13, 14, and 18 combo. So tell me what you thought. I would love to hear what you thought of either of these toms, all three of them. Which one did you prefer and why? What makes a tom a good sounding tom? To me, I guess I should have mentioned this up front, I think a good sounding tom has a really clear, defined, resonant pitch, and it decays fairly quickly. You don't want it to just reverberate forever and ever and create noise and overtones for the rest of the kit to compete with. So the toms that I like tend to be a little punchy, but a quick decay. And I think, let's just listen for decay on all three of these. They all sound pretty equal just in the room. I'll have to consult the mics to see if that's the case close up. But I'd say they all have about the same amount of decay. They don't linger too long. It's kind of the shape of the waveform that I like with a tom, a really quick hit and then a quick decay. So that's what we've got here. Three big ass toms, Tama and Yamaha, 80s Japan, really, really high quality stuff. You can't go wrong with any made in Japan set from the 80s, whether it's a lower swing star set from Tama or a 5000 series from Yamaha, or the middle tier Imperialstar, or maybe an 8000 series from Yamaha, or a Masters Pearl set. You know, you just cannot go wrong with that era of Japanese constructed drums. So before we go entirely, I'd like to see all three of these in the context of a kit. So I'm going to play each one of these with my Superstar kit, just a real basic groove, just to hear kind of what this tom sounds like used as a feature and then used kind of just as an accent. But let's start with the Imperialstar since it has to go first. So as always, like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. That always helps me out. And again, leave your comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think.